Oh, ow, that actually kind of hurt. Welcome to Play Digital. Today we're going to be taking a look at WWE Smackdown vs Raw 2008 for the 360. Now I have a tiny little confession to make. I am not a huge fan of wrestling games. While the theatrics of pro wrestling are undoubtedly hilarious, I find the fights themselves rather tedious and the world a little bit too involved. But if wrestling is your particular cup of tea, then I can see that there's a lot here to keep you twiddling those sticks. There are 50 superstars to choose from, including divas and some unlockable legends, and wrestlers now each have 2 out of 8 different fighting styles assigned to them, so they will play much more like their real-life counterparts. These styles are powerhouse, technical, high flyer, brawler, submission, dirty, showman, and hardcore. The associated moves range from the sensible, such as a technical fighter being able to auto-reverse all attacks prior to limb damage, to the funny, with the dirty fighters using the refs as a human shield, to the downright silly, like the hardcore fighter being able to regenerate limb damage by battering his own forehead with a steel chair until he draws blood. And to be fair, one of the beauties of pro wrestling is that none of these things are out of place. And with regard to keeping things in their place, finishers can now only be stolen by those with the showman fighting style, giving a much greater sense of authenticity. A struggle submission feature has been added to grappling, which develops the right stick control introduced in the last game of the series. When grappling, you can now choose how much pressure to exert. Exert pressure and there's less opportunity for your opponent to escape. Exert too much pressure and it places greater strain on you, your hands start to shake, and if you lose your grip, your opponent will recover before you do. And generally the controls have been made simpler, which does seem preferable to mindless button mashing. The ECW brand has also been revived in this game, and yes, this means you can play ECW Extreme rules, with improvised weapons handed to you by the crowds and everything. You can now also select your weapon thanks to the new weapon wheel. There are 3 different game modes. 24/7 combines the season and general manager modes of previous games, and you either try to get a single player up to legendary status as if you were actually fighting, or you manage one of the 3 brands, battling for ratings by choosing cool player combos and getting good scripts written. There's tournament mode with the standard plethora of match types, and the new Hall of Fame in which you get to relive classic matches from pro wrestling's glittered history. That said, the AI isn't great, and online and multiplayer are probably going to be the best ways to enjoy this one. There's also the usual customization stuff. You can create moves, stables and championships, and your own superstar, a feature which has had a few more options added. There are some problems though. You can't play all of the superstars in 24/7 mode, and there are loads of little niggles such as being unable to choose not to fight if you're injured. Although perhaps that is a little more in keeping with the tenor of pro wrestling anyway. The graphics are a slight improvement on previous titles in the series, but the collision detection is still far from great, with far too much clipping. You'll find your body interpenetrating your opponents like some sort of lycra-clad Miltonic angel. Also, the lengthy entrances are annoying. While these are awesome the first time around, they're too long to watch every time, but they take a long time to load, so even if you skip the actual scene, it means jumping into a game can be a lengthy process, especially if you have lots of players in the ring to introduce. But these lend themselves to what is my favourite part of the game, the Create an Entrance feature. You can add your own music, reassign movements, and play around with lighting, fireworks, etc. for cool or just downright hilarious results. In conclusion, this is a pretty solid wrestling game, and if you're a fan of the genre, you'll probably appreciate most of the developments that have been made since the last time out, especially with the controls and fighting styles, although the 24/7 mode may disappoint. 3 stars. Until next time, I ain't no Rudy Poo candy at. I'm sorry, I really can't pull this off. Can you just get me a nice cup of tea, please?